Welcome back to Dribbling Around. And hey, we're off of that VIC stuff. No longer that 30-minute time limit that we had to stick to. Now we can go as long as we want. We could be sitting here for 5 hours if we want to, just talking basketball. You know, we could with
Don't
the way
bring me
that we
back
get
to a
into
draft.
things. Oh, man. Oh, that was a tough day in front of my computer screen. I still think about that now. My neck still hurts, actually, from that day. But big news in the NBA, and the largest contract in NBA history has been signed. And that man, Giannis Antetokounmpo, put the pen to paper. And we had a lot of questions before he signed that contract. You know, what's he going to stay with the Bucks? If he doesn't sign it this offseason, then that's it. Odds are he's probably going to be going with another team. But we can forget all of that. He's a Buck. That's it, and it's not like they can move that contract in any way a couple years down the line. That is an immovable contract, pretty much. He's a Buck. If you have your Giannis jerseys, you're good. You're set for life. He's a Buck.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying it all along, Dane. You weren't so sure. So whenever you're ready, this is still in your Venmo. So I mean, we agreed to it on air, like it's in the recordings. It's so whenever you feel like it, okay.
How much was that?
I'll be paid $10, just $10.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, hey, it was pretty obvious that this guy, he didn't seem like kind of the ring chaser, like he's gonna jump ship after a couple of bad off seasons. And even though the Bogdan trade fell through, the Bucks showed that, hey, we are committed to pretty much going any length to winning a championship with you in Milwaukee and just keeping you in Milwaukee. Drew Holiday definitely helps that, and it definitely boosts their floor compared to having Bledsoe and George Hill. They're definitely not done making moves because they showed how aggressive they were, like on that one night in the summer in the offseason. So I would be very surprised if they don't make any, like, probably I could see them making one key bench trade. Maybe they don't mess with their starters too much after the season starts, but this is a huge win for Milwaukee after trading all those picks and that haul for Drew Holiday.
Yeah, and again, with the recent trend in the NBA, Giannis is saying, I'm going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be more like the players in the 80s and the 90s, and I'm going to stick with my team. And now, if it's not going to be this year, if Milwaukee continues to fail in the playoffs, whether it's in the second round of the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals, the time, and I think there will come a time that Giannis finally gets a ring, so many people are going to be happy for him because he's the guy that, and again, I was wrong. And probably because of recency bias, whether it was LeBron leaving, KD leaving, Kyrie, all those stars. Think about how many stars have changed teams. But now Giannis has the opportunity to say, hey, I stayed here. I didn't ring chase, like you said, Jayden. I didn't go to Golden State or anything like that. I didn't go to Miami and team up with D-Wade. I stayed here. Maybe they built a good team around me. But now he's at the point, especially if he continues this level of play, they're retiring his number. They're building a statue.
Yes, that's without a doubt.
Yeah, that's his career path. Like that's
no
his
question.
arc right now.
Okay, without a shadow of a doubt, I do not see Giannis playing for another team. Definitely throughout this contract, without question. Let's say Giannis falls off, or he's unhappy about what's going on in Milwaukee. It's going to be so hard to move that contract that he's a Buck. He has to just accept that whatever happens for these next however long years that he's with this deal, that he's a Buck, right? And I've said this about the Supermax contract before. I'll say it again. The only person that it really helps is the player that it's signing. It only helps Giannis. I don't think the Supermax contract helps the Bucks in any way. I think it helps them from a public relations standpoint. That
it gives them peace of mind.
Yes, and they know that they're going to have this guy for the long haul, but what else are they going to have around him? Yes, you could put pieces, but those pieces aren't going to be like super team pieces. They're going to be role player pieces that you could only win with if Giannis is playing to that top level. We haven't seen him play at the top level in the playoffs. We've seen him play in the regular season, no question.
They believe he's going to do that. But now, here's just playing devil's advocate, and I completely see your point. But now, since you have Giannis locked up in that Supermax contract, role players or other players that maybe not super team players, but players that are thinking, hey, maybe I should try and go to Milwaukee. They know a top 3 player in the game right now is completely committed to their franchise and winning a Now players know, they're thinking, oh, like even this offseason before
I
Giannis
get that.
Supermax, how many players were thinking, do I want to sign a 2 or 3 year deal in Milwaukee because is Giannis going to stay or not? They didn't know. So
Yeah.
now everyone's like, all right, he's committed there. I have the opportunity to go play with a superstar. And I think you could see more developed role players eventually go to Milwaukee. That's a positive I can take from that. But I see the point.
Championships are going to come in the non-flashy way that we've seen in the past few years. That we saw at the Lakers, they got the two biggest names that you could possibly get in the recent years of free agency and trades and what have you. And then with the Raptors there, with the trade for Kawhi Leonard, I'm talking about big movements jumping around the league. Now, if the Bucks were to win a championship, it's not going to be the flashy offseason signings. It's going to be that sneaky draft pick that they got late in the draft and ended up being a superstar. It's going to be that role player that turned into
draft pick.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What draft pick? So that's why I'm a little nervous for the Bucks. Giannis, he got the back. You got to give him all the credit in the world. That's what the Supermax contract is for. And make sure that the team that drafted him, I don't think the team that drafted him, the team that pushed him through, and the team that made him the star that he is today, they have him and they locked him down for good. It's just try to stop this super teaming type of deal. But now I feel like the Bucks have a little bit more handcuffs on them than they did previously.
Yeah, and just to add on to Dane's point, like the Bucks the last 2 years have always been a very active team in the buyout market, like around that window too. So we're not just looking at guys maybe going in early and signing the vet minimums. We're looking at guys who Wes Matthews a couple years ago, like that is going to be the number one team going after him. And now that they know, like, okay, Giannis is here, maybe this isn't just a 1 year pit stop, like, or even like just a 30 game pit stop. Like, the Bucks become more attractive, even though they are obviously a little bit more cash strapped now, especially with also bringing in Drew and having that Middleton contract. You're still going to be able to attract people with just flat out Giannis for the next 5 years.
Yeah. And now here's my thing. If Giannis wins a championship, if Giannis left at the end of his legacy, talking about his legacy, you think of Giannis, you think, oh, the Greek freak, one of the greatest players of who knows, eventually, possibly could be one of the greatest players of all time when it's all said and done. And you think, oh, he won a few championships. Now, if Giannis becomes one of the greatest players of all time, when you think of the Bucks, the first player you think of is going to be Giannis, at least in our era. I know Kareem played for the Bucks a while back and then for the Lakers.
Robinson.
Also, I think a ring with Milwaukee would hold more weight than a ring anywhere else, I think.
Oh, yes.
100%. Just because we haven't seen a superstar, maybe Curry, maybe you can compare him to that, but like still he had, and they drafted well, to their credit, like in 2015, like they drafted that entire team. So it's not like, oh, they went out and signed every big ticket guy, but that was still kind of like a super team, It's like Middleton isn't Clay and Drew isn't Draymond from back then.
That's the big knock against Kevin Durant, is that he didn't win it with the Thunder. He won it.
Yeah, exactly. And then even LeBron's like, he didn't do the same thing as KD, but he still went to Miami and teamed up with Wade and Bosh.
He did come back to the Cavs and he won.
He did, yeah. That ring is obviously his like. That ring is the number one ring on his list, but still,
without a doubt.
Yeah. What was I going to say? The two championships, the Warriors 2015, you can say so. I would say Spurs 2014 because that was sort of the end of a dynasty, I guess you could say. Dirk 2011 when Dirk won with Dallas.
Yeah, I'd probably say Dirk, honestly, just because the Spurs was still a dynasty in the 2010s. It's like you also want to give, like, Milwaukee's not the biggest market at all. Like Golden State is still in like California.
Funny enough, Milwaukee's slowly turning into a big sports market. Just look at the Brewers and the stars they have, and Yelich.
Packers are close.
Yeah, like it's slowly but surely. Packers have always been great, but I don't consider them Milwaukee. So you sort of just have to consider them Green Bay.
How did they not have a hockey team?
They
got college.
Oh yeah, Wisconsin.
The last point I'll say about Giannis and the Bucks, they have to make it to the finals this year for this contract to mean anything to me.
No,
I would say next two. They
have to do something. They have to take down the Nets at least.
I'm terrified of this contract. Like, I'm terrified of Giannis signing this contract and becoming the next like huge superstar to never win a ring. Yeah. That's my one reservation with this, because I absolutely want to see that Bucks team win now, just because like he's like, all right, I'll buy in. it's not just, yeah, I don't know, I want to jump ship. And it's not like I'm one of those old school fans that's just gonna like wave my cane at the clouds and scream at the sky. It's like, oh, this bandwagon jumper. It's like it just feels kind of better watching as a neutral fan.
And I
Homegrown
feel
talent.
that no one is rooting against Giannis. There's no one rooting against Giannis here saying, "Oh, I don't want him to win a ring. I don't want." There's nobody doing that. I think a lot of people are questioning Giannis, however, saying, "Can he win this a ring with the Bucks as it stands right now?" They have put together a better roster than they had last year, but you look at what else is there in the Eastern Conference. We talked about it last week on VIC, and what we went through the Eastern Conference. Yeah, we said, "Oh, they'll be number one in the regular season for sure," but don't be surprised to get knocked out in the second round. For that to be the expectation of the Bucks team, that isn't nice. We're talking about them. Oh,
I think that's the NBA in general right now, though. I don't even think. I just think anyone's like everyone pretty much has to worry about that second round exit now. Just how good the league is.
I feel because it's not like this is the only year it's happened to them. It's not the only year where they've been knocked out early.
No, I agree.
I want to see them go the distance.
I agree that, like, okay, if you're the Bucks and you have Giannis, that shouldn't be the expectation. Like, that shouldn't be the fears. Like, you don't want to worry about the second round exit. But also, like, I just think that's the entire NBA. Like, I don't think maybe the Lakers are the only team safe from thinking about it. But almost every team is like, okay, if you can make it past the second round, you're legit, just because the NBA is going to be so competitive on both sides this year.
Jayden, I was gonna say that we have a lot of questions sometimes, like, oh, should he have gone someplace else? Because who really is the last star to show their loyalty to a franchise like this? It's tough in recent memory to think about. Maybe Dirk.
I'd probably go Dirk.
No, to show loyalty and then win a championship on his own with that franchise. That's what I'm saying. Because they can show loyalty, but have they won a chip? Like
Kobe, Curry, Clay, but I'm saying
I don't think Curry really qualifies, just because like Dirk was probably like Dirk played a while,
Yeah.
Dirk won in his 30s too, so like everyone thought like.
Yeah, I think Curry was like, it was only his 5th or 6th year, which still he's
true.
like,
So you're saying
he's no spring head,
okay, I see that.
People forget Kobe went after he won those 3 chips and after Shaq left.
Yeah,
he was almost traded. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
And then he eventually won 4 and 5 with Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum and those boys. But yeah, the Lakers. Speaking of the Lakers, AD jersey, we're rocking 3-0. What were we? 3-0 in the preseason. Not like it matters. Taylor Horton Tucker, look out, baby! What a stud. Kyle Kuzma gonna have a bigger role.
You should see how much the first guy you mentioned. What's his name?
Taylor Horton Tucker.
His card, his rookie card, exploded. It went from 50 cents to like $24.
Dude,
and there's a lot of people out there that had like hundreds of his cards. So imagine it goes from 50 cents to $24. You have hundreds of those cards. Dude, you just made it like $1,000 profit. Like, like only imagine.
Dude, he could be okay. I'm not trying to overhype him. He's 20 years old, and I think he could be a nice player from our bench. Kuzma's shot looks good, but yeah. We did Eastern Conference last week, Western Conference this week, and it was a lot tougher, especially toward the bottom of our rankings. So we're going to do what we did last week. We're going to share our 8 playoff teams in no particular order, and then we'll share our order from the top down.
Top down? Actually, yeah, I like top down. I like that.
The top is a little bit more set in stone rather than the bottom.
Yeah, I like that.
Make it more interesting and add some suspense. So, Connor, do you want to start or should I go?
I'll go. I am just going to read mine off in alphabetical order. So I have Dallas, Denver, Golden State, Lakers, Clippers, Portland, Phoenix, Utah.
Wow. You missed the name there in the alphabetical that I have on mine.
I'm not
kind of gave up alphabetical.
I'm not going alphabetical.
Okay.
I don't know. I just
so maybe you didn't, but because
I just started reading
in a random order.
Mavericks,
okay,
Nuggets, Warriors, Rockets, Clippers, Lakers, Blazers, and the Jazz.
That's 7.
Did you leave out Phoenix?
Yes, I did leave out Phoenix.
Okay. Wait, we'll get to it. Here's what I got. Lakers, Mavericks, Suns, Trailblazers, Clippers, Jazz, Nuggets, Pelicans.
Wow. So who you left out?
Did you leave out Golden State
Yes, I did.
and Houston?
Like I said,
Wow.
I'm making an assumption.
I'm
Major
assuming
assumption.
that he's staying. So
I'm
I'll
not.
just say that now.
I think that we'll talk about Houston.
Yeah, we can talk about them,
We'll
but
start from the top down. Number one, I
we
think
all have the Lakers.
You'll have the Lakers.
but
Yeah,
We all have the Lakers.
watch out if they don't get it. Don't be shocked because LeBron and AD might not. They might give it half-ass in the beginning of the season. Like their minutes might be limited. Expect that. So again, the Taylor Horton Tuckers, the Kyle Kuzmas of the world, the Dennis Schroeders of the world, the Montrezl Harrells of the world, they're going to have to perform and get them some wins. Do I think the Lakers are still the best team in the Western Conference? Yes, I don't think we need to discuss that.
Yeah,
Connor,
that's without question.
yeah, Connor, who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I didn't really want to go this team just because it feels kind of trendy and I do expect some regression, but I picked the Nuggets here. And the reason being is just I've been low on the Clippers. And so that was obviously like
Low is an understatement.
Yeah, low is an understatement there, but I can't put them there. Though I do like some of their free agency moves. And then Dallas, I don't want to buy in too much. So I just feel like Denver, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. They beat the Clippers. They took the Lakers to 5. They were gassed. I feel like this is almost a safe pick at 2. One that's not going to get like it. There's really no reaction to it. You don't love it, but you don't hate it.
But the Nuggets had 2.
Yeah.
It is a trendy pick. You know, you're picking in a team that's going in that upward direction, and they could be the 2. But I'm sticking with the Clippers. My argument there that why it can go down is that the main reason why they're such a dominant team in the regular season was because of their depth, and they were so deep in that bench. And, you know, they lost a little bit of it this season, but you're talking about a team with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You have a solid defensive point guard. You still have your bigs there. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt, give them the 2. But then again, as we talked about earlier, second round exit can happen with how competitive that this, especially the Western Conference is. It can happen.
Yeah, again, Connor, I stuck with you at number 2 with the Nuggets. Again, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I stuck with it because I think the development of Michael Porter Jr. is going to be big. Again, that kid, look out. And Bol, I know everyone loves him. He's got some work to do. But Michael Porter Jr., if that kid can stay healthy, whew. Now that I just thought they lost Jeremy Grant too.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
that's a tough
loss. I
loss.
really want to flip. Okay, I'll just say
flip-
3. I have the Clipper. I'm gonna flip the Clippers up to 2 right now. I'm gonna flip the Nuggets up to 3. I'm sorry, I forgot about the Jeremy Grant thing. It's vice versa, like you mentioned, Jayden. The Clippers.
It can happen with the way that this season's moving. You know, anything can happen, especially in the Western Conference. And we're going to see later in his list, I'm guessing, that a lot of teams that we expect to be in the playoffs won't be. This could be the year for some teams that might be on that bubble to push through. But I feel pretty confident in the Clippers to not fall.
Yeah,
I feel like I should have the Clippers. Like, I'm just going to say right now, I have them at 4, and I'm kind of like factoring in how you say, Dane's like AD and LeBron probably aren't going to play some of that first half. I see the same happening with Paul George and Kawhi just because of resting.
Kawhi, not PG. PG needs to prove something.
PG does, but why would he play all these games?
Signed a big money deal. He needs
exactly. He has the bag. It's secure and everything.
You don't think from his standpoint that he would want to prove something to the fans or even emotionally?
That's what I think.
From a legacy standpoint, a lot like the money is money, but
Yeah.
I think nowadays a lot of players care about what fans think about them, especially in the social media era. You know, I don't think Paul George likes to be called Poopy P that much.
It's just a really bad look if he starts sitting kind of half these, like a quarter to 35% of these games after he just signed a big contract and after his abysmal performance in the playoffs. So
I agree. I mean, maybe like he starts off really hot and then like around March or something, he's like, you know what, I can take a couple games off here and there. Like that team is still definitely going to have rest. At 3, I have Dallas. I really like their offseason moves. I love Tyrell Terry going into the draft. And Josh Richardson, I think Josh Richardson is actually a very good partner for Luka, like an underrated partner, just because he can take some of that defensive weight off his shoulders. he's still another playmaker. Like, you're not going to be offensively starved whenever you have to give Luka a rest now, just because, okay, yeah, you had to give up Seth Curry, but you draft an unbelievable shooter in Tyrell Terry. You draft a guy who can do it on both ends of the court with Josh Richardson. I know you both weren't as high on Terry as I was at all, but I think it also depends on KP's health. I don't think he's going to be ready for the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
It depends how quickly
that's
he can
what's
come
big for
back
me.
Is
and
Powell
how
back?
long he can stay.
Is Dwight Powell back? He's actually
I think
really
so.
he's really good in the pick and roll. He
I
can.
think so.
My thing with Dallas, and I'll talk about them when I get to them. They had so many problems closing games last year, which is interesting because they have Luka, but I, they have defensive issues for me a little bit, and I just don't see them pushing up to 3 yet. It's a shortened season, but
I just wanted to make sure that my pick isn't based off of like a sole hunch that, oh, Luke is going to progress and even like to another level.
That's
I
what
like what the
everybody's
team
saying.
did in general.
It's not even a hunch at this point. Everyone's expecting this guy.
Yeah, everyone's
He's
expecting him to
growing more
win
to his
multiple
prime.
MVPs.
He's playing better basketball at the NBA level. Everything's trending in the right direction for him. To say that it's not, to say that he isn't like a bad take, Like,
Yeah.
That's just facts, I feel like.
It was 3 for you, Jayden.
3, I had the Nuggets.
Okay.
I like this team a lot. But as I said about this team earlier, and especially about one person in particular, Jamal Murray, is that when the light bulb is on, it's very bright, and it glows very, very bright. But when it's off, it's off. So I want to see a constant glow from them. I want to see consistency throughout the season. I don't want to see anything streaky from them. And in a 72-game season, streakiness could kind of hurt you if it happens at the wrong times. You understand what I'm saying? If especially happens around the All-Star break and you get cut right there in your middle of when you're hot. So you want your streakiness to especially propel you when you get closer towards the postseason. So I have confidence in this Nuggets team. I think they're very well-rounded and they're very young and they're very gritty. They're strong. They like to play tough basketball. We saw that from all their 3-1 comebacks. And the team isn't very different from what it was in that postseason. It's very, very different, I would say. But there's some changes. But I give credit where credit's due. It's not like I'm knocking them super low because their volatility is there. It's just I want to see it. I want to see that consistent glow.
Yeah. 4. This was tough because
Wait, who's your 3?
I said it was the Clippers.
Oh yeah, you flipped. My bad.
So my thing. No, I mean it's the Nuggets now. I move Clippers back up.
Yeah.
So 4. It's tough because this coach's teams usually aren't historically get out to good starts, but I really like them. They didn't get that much better. It's the Utah Jazz. And listen, I think what we saw from Donovan in the playoffs, a lot of people forget that Jazz overall played better than the Nuggets. I think Donovan dropped 2, 3 50-point games. Rudy's still solid in there.
I would say the Jazz. I would say Donovan played better than a lot of guys on the Nuggets. I would say the Jazz. That's a whole team.
If Bojan Bogdanovic is with the Jazz, I'm not saying they beat the Clippers, but they certainly beat the Nuggets. And we're not even talking about if they have Bojan Bogdanovic, we're not even talking about the Nuggets in the top 4.
If Rudy Gobert could catch a ball in the paint, I don't think we're talking about.
But you have Bogdanovic, Ingles off the bench, Jordan Clarkson is a microwave. And they have Quentin Snyder, I feel like, is an underrated coach. Donovan Mitchell's a young budding star. You have a veteran point guard. You have all the combination you need, and this team defends.
Yep.
So they're gritty, and I could see them getting a 4 spot. If anyone, they're a team that I feel like people are going to forget about that come playoff time. Like, if they're in a first-round series, I think they might win it. And if they're in a second-round series that's not against the Lakers, they're going to be in a dogfight. Like, I like this team. Of course, I'm going to mention Elijah Hughes. I think he could come off the bench and be a nice player. Maybe part of the reason why I bumped them up a spot. But he's not my point. Donovan Mitchell is my point. And Bojan Bogdanovic is my point. And they defend. I don't know. It's kind of like my baby, like my sleeper.
Oh, they're your baby sleeper?
Oh my God! Please stop. Sleeper baby. I wouldn't call them a sleeper baby. Not. I feel like they're.
I agree to the point that like they're gonna be a team that people forget about
because of the media.
They'll sneak up on you.
You know.
They'll sneak up
That's
on
why.
like they're not gonna do too much flashy stuff. Like Mitchell will still like really explode, but they're solid, and that's why people are gonna forget about them.
4, I have the Mavericks. Injuries might plague them early in the season, especially carrying over. But Luca, baby, you know, I wouldn't call. He's not a sleeper baby.
He's not a sleeper, baby.
He's Luca
He's like
legend.
an MVP favorite at this point.
And I don't know. Oh, it bothers me. It
What, that
bothers
he's
me
the
how he's
favorite?
MVP favorite because the MVP in the NBA goes to the best player on the best team. That's usually how it goes. The best player on the best team in the regular season, right? Is Dallas going to be the best team at the end? No. Usually it's probably going to be the Lakers. And should it go to LeBron?
I mean,
I think
Luca definitely had a stretch where his name was in the hat last year.
He's always going to be in the hat, but I want that Mavericks team to be a little bit stronger. And if they prove that this season, let's say they even push it up to the 2, let's say the Mavericks go wild, yeah, give it to him, no doubt. But if you're sitting at the 4 seed, I don't know.
Like the Bucks, what they get like more than 50, nearly not six. What they get 60 wins again?
Yeah,
well, maybe the shortened season they were going to, but excuse me, the Bucks had like the best regular season record by far the last 2 years. So like, it's not like Harden when he won, and then it was
Harden. Yeah, Houston had the 1 seed.
Listen, it makes sense.
Best team.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I think we could see the exception if Dallas makes a sizable jump, though. I don't think it necessarily has to be, oh, they're a top 2 team in the West. Like, if they just make a jump straight from 7 to 3, especially in this conference, then I think voters will look at that and say,
I have them at 4, but they could push it.
Yeah, I mean, I have them at 3. I'm a little bit higher and a little bit more down on the Clippers, just standings wise. At 5, I have Phoenix.
Wow.
And yeah, I don't think that's that much of a surprise, though, whenever you look at it. Like, you've got Booker, who's definitely a top 20 player. Chris Paul, who played like a top 20 player last year. DeAndre Ayton, who's probably a top 5 center in the league. Then you were able to keep Michael Bridges, Cam Johnson in that trade to get CP3. You draft Jalen Smith to back up Ayton and replace Aaron Baines. And obviously this team loves playing for that coach. Like Monty Williams had that team rallied in the bubble. I'm a little bit surprised that I feel like I'm going to be viewed as I'm high on the Suns whenever I feel like this is fair.
I think you're over the moon on the Suns at 5.
I don't think did a team improve more than Phoenix this offseason?
Yeah. I don't think the team has improved more, but I don't think they improved to the 5.
I don't think they did either.
They did.
Jeez.
Okay, 5.
Chris Paul
to the 5.
Chris Paul was probably top 5 MVP.
No, I get it. You're making.
I'm not expecting that again,
point.
But still.
Yeah, you got to admit, you watched it all season last year. What was it? 2%? Was it 2% or 0.2% for the Thunder to make the playoffs?
0.2, right?
Yeah, it was 0.2.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that that's the same boat, but that's sort of the same narrative that's being pushed, that you get Chris Paul and now he's going to bring up these rookie stars, or these young stars, not rookie, but they bring up these younger stars.
Also, the Suns I
don't know,
record from last year.
I could see
it's a little bit like mistelling just because Ayton was suspended for that PED.
Yeah.
Or violation.
I could see them making the playoffs. I don't see them making the 5.
I see them winning it. I think they could win a series.
Jeez. That I don't know. I can't push it.
I have them in. It's very early for me to put them in the top 5. 5 for me. Another surprise. I'm saying if this team is healthy and I like the additions they made, they're going to be a 5. It's the Trailblazers.
Oh my God. I thought you were about to say New Orleans.
No. Listen, if you have a healthy Dame and a healthy CJ, I like the addition of Covington possibly. Nurkic is now fully conditioned. You would hope so. You added Enes Kanter back, who was good in his time in Portland. He's not going to like blow the doors off. I'm not sure about Zach Collins, but listen, you have Anthony Simons I like off the bench. Gary Trent Jr., we saw how good of a shooter he was. They have all the offensive weapons. And again, they ran into a buzzsaw. We were talking about this team being the best 8 seed ever. And the only reason why they were an 8 seed is because they had so many injuries throughout the year. And then they grinded their way throughout the bubble to find a way to get in. So I'm going to suspect full health, and we hope. But when you have Dame and CJ, that's arguably a top 3, maybe top 2, 1-2 guard punch in the NBA, right? Like you're 1 and 2. I mean,
Yeah,
those
like them in Washington.
yeah, I mean, that punch is ridiculous. And I think they're going to play a little bit better defense and they're going to be ready to go. I mean,
And Phoenix. I kind of surprised that I just forgot to mention like 1-2 guard punch and didn't say Phoenix, but yeah.
Yeah, but I would say scoring punch probably those two, Dame and CJ,
Yeah,
like pure score.
probably.
Like because Dame, a lot of people remember Game 1, they beat the Lakers, man. Game 3 was a dogfight, and then Dame got hurt. Now the Lakers again, they weren't going to lose that series, but Portland, man, look out. Dame's gonna. I hope Dame's probably gonna go down as one of those players that's not gonna win a ring. That's fantastic, but Jayden, I'm looking at your face. I feel
I
like
think
you
it's
don't.
just too high. Both of these teams, I think it's just way too high on both of these.
Here's my thing. The Suns, I feel like Connor's overreacting a little bit because of the bubble. Chris Paul, I get it. I like the Suns too. I just don't have them that high. The thing, I'm not overreacting with the Trailblazers because when healthy, they were the 3 seed the year before and made the Western Conference Finals, then were hurt most of the year and still found a way to get in.
They're a very good regular season team. I don't think they do any action in the playoffs.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying.
Who do you have?
At 5, I have the Jazz.
Okay, yeah, that's.
So I'm staying. I've said everything.
Give me
you
a pick
guys
I
have
can
said
get
so
mad
far.
at. Give me a pick I can get mad
That's
at.
gonna be the next one.
Okay,
But
good.
The,
Next pick, I have Portland. And I'm backing Dane up on this. I don't think we're overreacting at all just because I think Dame is the one, maybe like one of the very few players in the NBA who can have those stretches where it's just like, yeah, he just unconsciously drops 40. It's just like you can pencil him in for that for like a 2-week stretch. And that might be all Portland needs because they might get that like a couple times in a year. But then you've got a fully 100% ready Nurkic. You've got Collins Cantor. I love the Rocco edition. And CJ is still one of the most underrated players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. And Jayden, you already said you're 5. You said you're 5. So who's 6? Do you want me to go with 6?
Sure. I said Portland was my 6. So you go. Yeah, I had Phoenix at 5, Portland 6.
The only reason why I'm putting Dallas at 6 is because I'm a little concerned about KP. And I think Luka could potentially have one of those MVPs. I'm not saying he's going to average a triple-double like Russ, but we could see Luka win a type of MVP that Russ won in OKC. I'm not comparing the teams necessarily, but Luka he's going to be the only player on that team that's going to be able to necessarily produce. Now, I'm not knocking Tim Hardaway. I think if Dwight Powell's back, they'll be better. But they had a lot of defensive issues. I think Josh Richardson is a nice addition, but I just see, and this is really tough because there's so many good teams in the West. I just like Utah's defensive intensity a little bit more. I like Portland's scoring punch a little bit more. It's not that I don't like Dallas. It's just like I like the other teams better when healthy. No, because Dallas, they got better. But Utah, they didn't have Bogdanovich in the playoffs. Portland, they weren't really fully healthy necessarily. So those 3 teams, 4, 5, 6, even if you get up to 2, 3, these could all be toss-ups. I could see Dallas jumping all the way to 3. I could see Utah jumping all the way to 3, or I could see Portland jumping all the way to 2 if they're that good, because we talked about the stretches that Dame has been able to go on. And it's a shortened season. If he goes on that for a month, what if they go 10-1 in a stretch to start the season? Then they're the 1 seed. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but it's the ability for these standings to change is going to be very drastic. So it's tough for me to put Dallas at 6, and that might make me look stupid. It probably will, but that's what I have. It's just it's tough, and I still think Luka's going to win MVP, even if they get the 6 seed.
All right, here's a fun one. Number 6. Golden State Warriors at number 6. A lot of people, this is the one I probably am a little too high on, but hey, I had them, I think, as the 3rd best team before Clay got hurt. With Clay hurt, does that make them a team automatically out of the playoffs? No.
Yes.
Does it? I think it makes them a bottom level playoff team. The offense is still very potent. and especially with the addition of Wiseman in the paint, if he's able to develop into a star his rookie year, he's favored for rookie of the year. I think as a stat, well, maybe Ball is probably after this preseason what we've seen from Ball is just unreal. So I think Ball's up there, but he's probably the best big man easily going to come out this draft. And now he's going with the Golden State Warriors team. And I know we're going to play the favorite game that we love to play every year. Is Andrew Wiggins going to finally be what he was supposed to be? If this is the year, and this is the if any year's going to be the year, this is going to be the year for him to do.
How are you not mentioning the other wing the Warriors got this offseason?
We're going to talk about.
Well, they just got Jeremy Lin too.
Well, with Andrew Wiggins and who else is in their starting lineup that you love?
You talking about Oubre?
Yeah.
So I'm getting to it. And I'm talking, and also Draymond Green. So the roster, it's obviously gonna look different from the Warriors teams that we've seen in the past. But if Kerr could work it together, I could see them making the 6. I could then again see them being a 9 and not make the playoffs. But I'm banking on their high end, and I'm banking on Steph Curry here.
So I agree with you that they'll be a playoff team, and I had them pretty high too. So the Clay loss doesn't drop them from the playoffs for me. It drops them down a tier, but I
100% without you're losing one of the prettiest shooters in the league. You lose.
It's not like that you're dead after losing him, though. That's the thing. That's why I think
if you lost Curry, I would say that.
100%. Yeah, you can't replace him. Yeah. You can minimize the loss of Clay. You can't do anything of Curry
because he's one of the most talented 3-and-Ds in the league.
Exactly. So
I'm saying, but the 3-and-D is fixable. Steph Curry, I don't think that's fixable.
At number 7, I have Utah. We don't need to spend too much time on this pick just because they're a safe team. They're a safe pick.
Yeah, they're safe to make it. They're safe to make it.
Yeah, the reason I have them at 7 is just because I think Phoenix and Portland are flashier. I'm definitely being blinded by the lights a little bit here. But, I mean, Portland, you got Dame. You got that MVP candidate, the guy who can pop off. Phoenix, you've got Chris Paul, that flashy new toy to go with DeAndre Ayton and Booker now. Utah, they didn't do anything, but they're still a very good teams. Like some of these teams, especially in the West, their franchise is just like peaking almost at the wrong time. And I think that's kind of the case for Utah.
LeBron and AD.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, not even that. It's just look at all these teams. Like I honestly think my 2 through 11 teams are almost all interchangeable. That's how deep this West.
Yes.
That's how it is.
I would say 2 to 11 is interchangeable.
It's like maybe stretching it a little bit. And it's like I'm also kind of like considering, the Lakers might not finish with the 1 seed, but I think they're going to be undoubtedly the number 1 team in the West. But I mean, I have Memphis just on the outside. Like I could definitely see them making the 5, like a 5 seed.
Yeah. 7. I'm not going to talk about it much. Phoenix. They're going to get it. I think they might they're a little new together, but I mean, it's Chris Paul. So again, this is so difficult. We were making our rankings before the show and I was having so much trouble, trying to figure out these rankings. The Suns could be the 4 seed or the 3 seed. It's a shirt. I think my rankings, I would be more confident in an 82 game season, 100% more confident. And I know it's not, it's pretty close.
A lot of people don't realize, man, you make it to the back end of the season, wins and losses, they matter at the end of the season. Obviously, all matter.
Yeah, people are going to be standing watching at game 50. Yes. It is going to be very early when people start really looking down the schedule, really looking down the standings. It's we really can't afford to lose this game tonight.
It's sort of like baseball. If you're a baseball fan, you remember watching that 60-game season, every game mattered. And that's what one of the unique things about that 60-game season in baseball, especially going from 162 to 60, every game matters. Yeah, you're literally talking about Memorial Day to, in regular baseball terms, Memorial Day to the end of the season, or the trade deadline to the end of the season. I think that's a better way to put it. So that's sort of what you're looking at for a portion of this NBA season.
So, Jayden, hearing that you had hearing your 8 teams, the one I haven't heard yet is the Rockets. So I assume
they're right here. They're at number 7. And this is assuming Harden's here. This is assuming that James Harden is in a Houston Rockets jersey. This is what it's assuming. Does it happen? Because I'm going off it right now. Because he's a Rocket. That's what he is. He's not with any other team. Assuming that he stays the whole season and he's there, I have no problem putting him at number 7. James Harden, one of the most prolific scorers in the league, and defensively, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up, but they're going to be able to shoot a lot of people out of the gym just because of James Harden. I don't think the loss of Westbrook's going to decimate them. And I don't think that's like something that a lot of people even have questioned about either, because Harden can pick up that slack without a doubt. Harden is just one of those guys. So you see those picks, though. He's looking a little bit like me now, getting a little thick. So.
Rick Ross was trending on Twitter because of that pick.
I think he was wearing some stuff underneath.
Yeah, 100%. But still, like, just I love NBA Twitter. I missed it for like that little 2-month stretch. I missed it. My timeline definitely needed it. There's like just 3 preseason games, and we're already back in mid-season form.
All right, I'm gonna swear here. I'm sorry, but it was NBA. No, stop, Connor. But there was it was like when Lakers fans, when Taylor Horton Tucker misses a shot versus when Kuzma misses a shot. Tucker misses a shot. Oh, baby, gorgeous. It's okay.
Was it the Gordon Ramsay thing?
No, yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, Kuzma misses the shot. You fucking donkey!
What are you, an idiot sandwich?
Kuzma misses. You fucking donkey! You suck. Like, what is wrong with you?
All right, wrapping up my playoff teams. I have Golden State, and it feels weird because I low-key think Steph Curry is a dark horse MVP candidate.
Yes.
And it's weird to think that the first unanimous MVP in NBA history, 2-3 years removed, or 4 years, I can't count, is now a dark horse MVP, and his team.
We forget.
He's a bubble. Yeah, I mean, we're all like, we haven't seen him play in forever, and this Warriors team is going to be pretty brand new just because Draymond is probably regressing a little bit. You add in Wiseman, like they never had a dominant center during that stretch. You add in Kelly Oubre. This is going to be a very new look Warriors, but maybe Curry really, like, I could definitely see Curry leading them to maybe a 6 seed, but like he's going to have to carry. And I think he can, though. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most influential player in NBA history, in my opinion, Steph Curry, without a doubt. And you could argue that with maybe Jordan, but I'm talking about influential, him in AI maybe, but that's better than, and great with the media. No reason why he shouldn't be up there for MVP, especially if he plays well.
8, I talked about it. It's New Orleans. I get you can cringe with it. I think Zion is going to get better.
You say Zion is the reason. You can't say Zion.
I'm not saying Zion's the reason. Zion isn't.
Okay, I need to hear the reason why, because Zion's not it. He's a piece, but I don't think he's it.
Zion's a piece.
I think he's a very big piece.
Brandon Ingram's the main piece.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram's the main piece that was an all-star last year that has the ability to average 25 a game. And I think when you get Lonzo Ball in rhythm, Lonzo Ball didn't play well in the bubble. That's a fact. He played awful. Before the bubble, before the shutdown, Lonzo Ball was in like a 15-20 game stretch where he was averaging like 16, 7, and 8 or something. He was playing phenomenal. He was getting in the flow with that team. They started to play well. I'm not saying that I think Eric Bledsoe will help them, especially defensively. Shooting, obviously not. We saw he was terrible with the Bucks, but I think a guy like Bledsoe will help them, and I think a guy like Steven Adams will help them too. Like,
without a doubt, that's what they needed.
You get another big in there, and it could be a log jam, and you also have, because you add Bledsoe, right, who could help you defensively handle the ball, but you have JJ Redick. You have a shooter there too. So you have pieces to go along with a couple young guys that'll get better. Zion can grab you boards and get you a double-double almost every other night. Brandon Ingram could drop 25. Again, they could very well be out, but they have young players that can improve to go along with veterans that have been in the playoffs. So I have them sneaking into that last seed.
From a physical standpoint, the Pelicans had the strongest front court in the, like, physical strength, without a doubt, in the NBA, right? They could kill somebody in that paint.
There's going to be a lot of concussion spotters in the stands for those games.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys see what I'm saying though?
No, yeah, I agree. I'm banking on more proven teams like Golden State and Utah sneaking in over New Orleans.
I'm just saying this group that started with the Lakers that I watched for a while, whether it's Hart, not really including him, but
I also kind of disagree to the point where it's not gonna, like, BI. He's definitely gonna have to play at the level he did last season. But if they make the playoffs, it's because of Zion. is because he plays a full season and he takes a leap.
You think it's because of him?
No,
I wouldn't say
Well,
like
I'm
it's
saying
I think it's
BI,
good.
like he is definitely going to be a very important piece, and I just think like his what's going to be expected of him is to just keep up from last season. What's going to be expected of Zion is to take that next step and also stay on the court.
that's a great point.
That's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
That's true. And listen, Brandon Ingram, yeah, I think he could take another step, but Connor's right. If Zion stays the way he is and kind of just in and out in games and things like that, no, the Pelicans, they need Zion because also Zion attracts so much attention on defense. Like even just you're playing Zion, just boards, just having to pay attention to him, not necessarily from the outside, but playing with Zion on the floor, it opens up not necessarily spacing wise, but it gives less attention to guys like BI and things like that. If Zion's out, you're focusing in on the connection between ball, BI, and following Redick around as a shooter. That's what you're doing.
I'm slightly worried about Steven Adams clogging the paint a little bit too frequently, but still, like that those two can overpower almost any one-on-one mismatch or even defender. To be
Their
fair,
bench isn't that great. I like Josh Hart because I've seen him play a lot, but I just think
they have
overall,
Bledsoe coming off the bench, right?
yeah,
Yeah, he'll
yeah,
come off the bench. They got Hart. Did Derek Favors? He went back to Utah, right?
yes.
Yes.
So
That's what I thought.
yeah. So but Jayden 8.
Number 8, the Portland Trailblazers. So I have them in the playoffs. They're there, but I don't see them being higher than the Rockets. I don't see them being higher than the. Sorry, there's a plow drives outside my window. How many inches did New York City get? Like 10 inches, something like that. So currently being cleaned up here in Queens, New York. But I have the Trailblazers. For me, I feel like I keep on saying this. They're a team that borders on between the edge of mediocrity and good. I don't feel like they're a good team. I don't feel like they're a mediocre team. They're right there. Injuries, obviously, season was an issue, and before that, they're a pretty good team. But we're talking about a team that we saw 2 years ago. In my opinion, I do think they're a good group of players. I don't think they're a good team. Trailblazers.
I feel very comfortable saying they will be better than Golden State and Houston this year.
So do I.
I feel very comfortable. And that's not just because of the question marks surrounding the other two teams. I just think I think they're a strong team. I think they're a good, strong team where I see your point. Like they're a great group of individuals. I think Rocco is going to be a huge addition to that team. Like everyone kind of said that's a huge overpayment whenever the trade happened. But you have to realize that Portland isn't going to trade CJ or Dame. So they have to probably overspend on a couple moves that might not look good, but they have to move the needle somehow.
Yeah. And I had Houston and Golden State out. And Jayden, you're looking at it realistically here. If they do have James Harden, I think they probably get in, but I'm going to assume he's going to get traded. The other thing, if Houston gets off to a bad start, I think Harden is checking out. I think
Harden is checked out.
Would be not that he might yeah, that's a good point, Connor. He might already be checked out, but this could be, and I'm not accusing Kawhi Leonard of faking an injury when he was back in San Antonio, but this could be a situation where Harden gets injured, like the end of Kawhi's career in San Antonio, and then he eventually got shipped off to Toronto. Obviously, I'm not sure what that would do with the trade price, if that would open up opportunities, if that would close opportunities. I don't know. I think it's good to see John Wall and Boogie back together. Really injury prone. They lost Rocco. They don't.
Christian Wood's looking great, and I'm not one to put too much stock into preseason. Like I hate watching all these rookies get hyped up. I'm talking about you, Obi Toppin, but I think Christian Wood has looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm not expecting like an all-star campaign because I was high on him in free agency. I was surprised whenever Detroit decided to pay Mason Plumlee or whatever Plumlee it was instead of Wood. And that was a great pickup for Houston. I have them I know we're probably. Did you guys do the 9 through 15? I just kind of did it.
No, Golden State. Reason why I had them out. I like Steph. I love Steph, and I don't buy much into the preseason, but he's playing well in the preseason. Steph Curry is. He's shooting. He's finding ways to score. he's going to do that if he stays healthy. And you hope he does, because you want to see Steph Curry. The NBA is better when Steph Curry is shooting well and playing. It's 100% true. Thing is, Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins, other than that, with Draymond, I don't see like I feel like Kelly and Andrew, they're both going to try and be the number two, and they can't be like the number two. I think that could be a problem. Not sure how much Draymond has left. Prove me wrong, Draymond. I know you got a big mouth or whatever. And whoever else is coming off the bench for that team, I don't know anybody. Eric Pascal, like that. I have a ton of questions with Golden State. Clay losing Clay, it takes away Steph's effectiveness too, so much, because how much more can they space the floor with Klay Thompson? It's ridiculous. Now the offense is completely revolved around Steph Curry. Now, if you have a defensive-minded team like a Utah or a Miami in the East or something like that, or whoever you play, or a Boston or anybody, now you have your defensive game plan. Yeah, let's focus in on Steph. Let's force either Kelly Oubre or Andrew Wiggins to drop 25 every other night. Guess what? We don't think you can do it. And more often than not, I don't think they're going to. They can have Steph drop 30, but they're going to be at the fringe. I have them at 10, actually. So,
I have Houston at 9, New Orleans at 10, Memphis at 11.
I have Memphis at 9.
I definitely have Houston at the bottom of their range, I think. And I'm just kind of factoring in, I think Harden is going to play at the beginning, and at some point he's going to check out. Whether it's being traded or just mentally he checks out, he just doesn't care. But I will say it's interesting, though. Like, I believe all these reports that are coming out about Harden, that the Rockets have just been an organized AAU team and he's pretty much addicted to partying. It's so convenient for the Rockets that all this information is coming out right now.
You know what they're saying?
Why?
Well, anytime a player requests a trade, like, that's whenever shit gets leaked about.
Oh, yeah. What they're saying is that if Harden went to Toronto, he would be the best player in the league because there's no good strip clubs in Toronto. So that he would be completely focused on
maybe
that.
He's the worst then.
Who would you give?
Oh, maybe.
Lowry back to Houston where he started his career.
Lowry has no value in a Harden trade. Yeah. Like, no value that would make it worth it.
There's nobody over there at Houston that can.
He's not going to
Siakam.
Yeah, but
Siakam would have to be the main piece. Probably Siakam and OG. That's probably where it would have to start.
I wouldn't like that for Toronto.
I wouldn't like it either. I'm just saying that's where
I'm just saying, like, it'll be funny for.
Hey, also, while we're on the topic of it, do we just want to talk about the Philly stuff that happened yesterday, and like Daryl Morey straight up saying like, "Oh, I'm not going to trade him." Like, I don't believe that at all.
Who, Ben?
I'm not taking Morey's word for it right now, and I'm not saying, "Oh, I think a Rocket Sixers trade will happen." I'm just saying Morey straight up told Chris Paul like days before he got traded to OKC that he wasn't getting traded, and then he was, and it's just a business. It's a business. That's all it is. But
I say get it to at least a deadline.
Yeah, I would. Well, I also think a Harden trade has to happen sooner rather than later. The more we wait, the less likely it happens, just because that is a very tough player to ingrain in your system.
More than fair.
Yeah. One team I wanted to talk about. I had Memphis at 9, and I had trouble putting them out because they really getting in, and they didn't really get better necessarily, but they're all young, so I think they will progress. And I think if it weren't for the bubble, if the season continued to go along, Memphis had a tough schedule, but they were playing really talented basketball. They were sharing the rock pretty well. And I think Ja Morant, man, rookie of the year by far. I get Zion didn't play much. If he played the whole year, Zion probably would have won it. I don't want to say young Derrick Rose, but that's kind of the player comp I'm thinking of.
With hopefully healthy knees. Give that to somebody and not say that.
I just kind of look at Memphis the same way I look at Utah, as in they're a safe pick because we know their floor and their ceiling. Like, we definitely know their ceiling could be high.
Yes.
I just don't think I don't think it's that reachable, especially in this kind of climate for the conference.
Yeah, I give it a couple years, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say they maybe need like 1 or 2 more draft picks, or at least some players to further develop.
I think Brandon Clark's going to be good. I think Jaren
I love Brandon Clark.
He is a bouncy mother trucker. I mean, that guy running the floor. Connor, were you upset by some?
That phrase.
I wanted to say
It's a bouncy. What'd you say?
Mother trucker.
mother trucker. I wanted to say the F word, but I didn't. See, this is
Great audible
Oh.
right there.
To end this off, Spurs, Kings, Wolves, Thunder, all knows without a doubt.
I
have the
had Kings, Spurs, Timberwolves, Thunder. Yeah.
second to last, and that's just going to be so stupid.
I didn't put them in any order, but yeah. Just,
gonna-
they're
Yeah,
all
the
just
Spurs.
no.
I feel like the Spurs might end up being 14th in the West, and that is just going to be a very weird sight.
Do
to see.
any of those 4 teams get the first overall pick?
OKC is the only
It's
one.
got to be someone in the East.
OKC is the only one.
I think
I
it
think
might be someone in
OKC.
the
Well,
West, 'cause the West
are we
is
talking number one pick or number one odds?
number one odds?
Number one odds. It has to be a team from the East.
Okay.
I still think OKC is going to be
because
competitive.
remember-
Like they're definitely going to be the 15th seed in the West.
Is any of these 4 teams going to be the worst team in the NBA record wise? That's what I'm asking.
I would strongly disagree.
I don't think so. Okay.
I think it's going to be the Knicks.
No.
Knicks?
I think it's going to be the Knicks.
No,
I think I
don't-
like the Cavs to not finish last.
I don't know about the Knicks.
It won't be the Pistons.
I think they smell the playoffs for a little bit. I think they smell it.
Who is it going to be?
I don't know because everyone you can't say the
Everyone got a little bit better.
You can't say the Magic. You can't because Vucevic will win enough games for them. They might even sneak in. Who knows?
Yeah.
The Hawks, the Heat,
Definitely not the Hawks.
the Hornets. I think the Hornets are actually going to lose a lot of games. It was just going to.
I think the Hornets will be better than the Knicks though.
Shoot.
I honestly it has to be the Knicks, right?
No, I really don't think so. Maybe it's my New York
Do you
bias.
think do you think the Knicks are better than the Cavs?
It's
think
the
they
Knicks
are
or the
better than
Cavs. If everyone, unless barring injuries, and injuries happen.
Yeah, barring injuries.
Like
Yeah.
if the Pistons lose Blake or something like that, it could be
I
down.
just-
Warriors lose Steph. That could
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
could obviously that.
like last year.
Or like Sacramento loses Fox. Even if like OKC loses Shea, that's their
Or
only.
the Spurs lose DeRozan or Aldridge, right?
I
So
think the Spurs are average. I don't think like one player getting injured will like make them bottom out. You know?
DeRozan's fro, loving it, loving the new
Yeah,
one.
great Fro.
But yeah, honestly, if you look at all the teams and let's say everything works out perfectly, and it's not going to, so I don't know why we're kind of doing this hypothetical, but it's fun. Right now, yeah, I'd have to say the Knicks.
I would say the Knicks. I think the Cavs are much better than the Knicks. I know
Cavs-
I've already said like I'm not putting too much stock into preseason. Isaac Okoro's looked good for Cleveland. That's all I'm gonna say.
Here's my thing. You're giving a little bit of because you're from Erie and
I know. I probably have a little bit of underlying bias, but also like I'm looking at Sexton. I think Garland will improve. Okoro, I think Drummond is someone people are forgetting about. And I'm not saying like, oh, all-star guy. I'm just saying like he's probably going to lead the league in rebounds. And
I
stuff.
don't think RJ Barrett, he's gonna kind of be given the reins. Needs to shoot better, and I just don't think he's completely ready to lead the race.
I think there will be
Toughest division in
multiple walls.
basketball, top to bottom. I feel like.
I think multiple walls will be hit by Knicks players.
Okay, slow down. They're all young. Like
Yeah, I'm just saying like it. No, I'm not. I'll say slumps. I won't say walls. I'll say slumps.
We'll see. We'll see. But
Also, their head coach is Tom Thibodeau.
Pretty good
it'll
defensive
make them a little
coach.
bit better on defense. Like there are things with every team that you can take away that hey, that's a positive. Maybe they could get a little bit better. There's some upside involved in that. So it's tough to really find saying, oh, they're good. This is one of the first years. Like last year, I felt like we knew. A couple of years ago, we knew like, oh, they're just going to be a bad team. Like they're not good. Like this year, there's a little bit of everything where you can say, wow, their ceiling maybe could be like the worst team in the NBA. The Knicks ceiling, who I think could possibly be the worst team in the NBA, is like a 9.
Okay.
Like that's what I'm saying. That's
I
their
agree with that. I really do.
I don't. I just think the Knicks are still the Knicks.
Jayden, tell me why.
Because one thing that might hurt them is that they're not playing in front of a crowded Madison Square Garden. You could also argue that might help them, especially with a lot of young guys, and you're playing in front of the Mecca. It's a really big stage. I think it cools it down a little bit for a lot of people. And you bring in Obi Toppin, and you pair that with RJ Barrett. You see those pictures throwing up lobster with one another. Let me have that for the next
The
10
defense has been atrocious.
What I will say is that I don't think they're a playoff team, not even close. So we're talking about the New York Knicks here, but I think they're trending in the right direction in a 72-game season. If they get hot at the right time, especially after the All-Star break, I think we could have a discussion down the line. And one of our topics here in the show could be, will the Knicks make the playoffs? I think
it's hard. It's hard for the Knicks to trend in a worse direction, though.
Yeah.
Like their options are kind of limited.
I'd rather them go like this than go like this, because there's no way they can go like this no more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either this or this, and I'd rather them do this, and they're doing this.
We're talking way too much about.
Yeah. Anyone want to make a bet real quick? Because I got $10 to burn.
No,
I just lost $10. So, speaking of which, enough talking about the Knicks. I'm clicking a pen right now because I'm getting ready to use it. You know why? Because we have one of our favorite segments.
Drum roll, please. Dane, hit the intro. Welcome to Jayden's Jump Ball. Welcome to Jayden's Jump Ball. Welcome to Jayden's Jump Ball. Welcome to Jayden's Jump Ball.
Bulls.
Yeah.
Give me this. This is mine, right?
Connor.
Steven
This
Adams.
is yours, Steven Adams.
Give me that.
Correct. That's the knowledge juice he's using to get into his mind.
I think I might be close. 83.
84. I'll give you that one. Very close.
You gave
That
Connor
was-
one that connects to hockey, so
Yeah. He's
immediately
like,
Hey,
gets that
I
one.
gave you the Indiana Pacers.
yeah, you got the
So-
Pacers. Calm down.
Welcome to Jayden's Jump Ball. Oh boy, we missed this segment so much. We had to put it to the side a little bit. We saved it for interviews and stuff like that, but it's tough to do these visual aids during a radio show, and you can't really see anything. It's tough to describe as well. But now we're back on YouTube doing as much as we can, and you know, I'll do something for the fans. I'll bring back that Jayden Jump Ball. I know that people want it. It was near and dear to their heart. So this one, we've done something similar to it, but this time it's definitely more direct. And I'm going to pop it up on the screen here.
What's the score between us? I think I'm up by like 2.
That is a great question. What is the score? But this time we are talking about NBA player logos. So this is the first round right here, starting off real fast. I just want you to write down the 3 players these logos represent. So for every time you get it right, you get a point, and there's 11 questions. So you're going to write it down so there's no cheating here. And I'll give you a couple seconds to
Wait, hold on.
get yourself together. These are all, I try to group them in a way where they're all sort of somewhat similar. So these are all like humans, if you will.
Oh, 3.
All right. I'm taking a guess on 3.
Okay. That should have been obvious. So hold up your papers.
Wait,
Let me
hold on.
see.
I'm trying to get 3.
I gotta get my camera back because I had to move the screen. All right. I'll
Okay.
hold it first.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think of 3. Hold on.
Wait, go back. I'm gonna have to push you for. Anyways,
All right, come on.
Okay, this is so bad. 3 is not.
all these
5
logos
seconds on the clock.
have
done.
all been either worn or used in some way. to
Okay.
represent the player. Ready?
Go.
3, 2, 1.
You
MJ,
got-
Shaq, and Kobe. Dane
That was
Jordan,
my guess
Jack-
for 3.
and Dirk. So each of you get 2 points.
3.
Jordan, Shaq is correct. Number 3, both got wrong. Rasheed Wallace.
Oh my God.
Who gave him a shoe?
I saw it on a shoe. I saw it on a coffee mug. That's what this picture sort of comes up. But this is his logo. So
Nice.
that is for sure.
Way to go, Rasheed Wallace.
All
Good
right.
for you.
Me too.
Next.
Okay.
I tried to not give you the easy ones. The easiest one you were gonna get was Jordan in the beginning. The rest are pretty difficult. The rest of the way.
Who is?
Oh shoot! Remember, I try to group these in a way so the way the logo is structured helps you with another one, or I don't know if that
Dude,
purely
I
based off of aesthetic. Not
don't know anything about number 6.
6 is tough.
I have a guess. All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
Dan, you ready?
No, I'm trying to think of 6. Shit.
All right, shot clock. We should have a shot clock for this. We should definitely have a shot
That
clock.
would be a
for
good
this.
idea. I'm about
I
to
like
push
that
it on
idea.
it.
24-second shot clock. And then we'll test drive with this.
Am I good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. So I'm looking at Dane's first. It says
Okay.
Dwight as in Dwight Howard. Is that correct?
Yes.
Harden, Allen Iverson, and Connors says, is that Kristaps Porzingis?
Yeah.
Harden and Allen Iverson. So Connor gets 2 points. Dane gets all 3. That is Dwight Howard for number 4. You see the DH. So Dwight Howard, I think DH up, and Harden, and then is the H there. The Allen Iverson I through. I don't know. Made it look nice. So I think Dane's up by 1 right now.
Yeah.
Next.
What?
These are all logos from NBA players, without a doubt. I made sure they're on articles of clothing.
Connor, we don't know any of these.
Okay, I have a guess for 9. Like 8 just looks like a spinoff of the old Cavs logo, though. Bro, who was giving these players logos?
I think
Yo, these have these.
if I need to give you a hint, I think all of these players are Hall of Famers or should be Hall of Famers.
Really?
Oh,
I have to give you a hint. None of these players are in the NBA. Yeah, I think that's all hints I could sort of give you. But
They're all like
You
retired.
know what? I have a guess for 7.
Yes, all of them.
I
are-
have a good guess for 7.
I don't feel good about my guess for 7.
I actually kind of do. 8 and 9, I'm lost.
All right. I have no idea for 8.
Wait,
Just put like the old timey, like the no dialogue movie music over this part where we're just thinking.
all right. I'm done.
I don't even have a guess for 8.
You got write down something.
I wrote down something. I just wrote
You wrote down something? All right. I'm just writing the first player that.
Okay, Connor, show your shirts.
Why me?
You can definitely figure it out because of the logo. You could definitely.
I just saw the first.
All right. You
8 is
ready?
definitely just a guess.
Okay. So we have both say Paul Pierce. Both say, is that Kevin Garnett for you, Dane?
Yeah.
And what does Connor say there for number 8?
For number 8, I just put like CP3.
And what was number 9 for you, Connor?
I had T-Mac, Trace McGrady.
And what was you, Tim Duncan, that is?
Yeah.
So the only person to get a point here is Connor, number 9, Tracy McGrady. So that's correct. See the TM, so get the basketball there.
Yeah.
Number 7 is Scottie Pippen. That is the logo on the back of his shoe that says the big air on it. That's the logo on the back of his shoe. And 8 is Penny Hardaway.
What does that have to do with him?
You see the C?
Oh, the scent logo.
Scent logo. I want to see if I have
I was getting hung up on the C.
That's actually
Clever marketing.
I have a phone posits, but it doesn't have that word. But that's that C there. So it's
I love that
it's
marketing.
7 was Paul Pierce because I got 2 P's.
Yeah, I thought you guys
That's what I
were.
was thinking too.
Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah.
You used context clues, but that's what it was. So,
I knew T-Mac, so
these are the final 2, and you guys are tied. So I think you guys might be able to get 10. I don't know if you guys.
it's gonna be tough if we tie.
Wait, is that even
player?
a player? Or
These are both player logos. Yeah.
Dude.
what?
10 what is 10 even a logo for?
Are these Hall of Famers?
One of these players is no longer in the NBA.
Definitely
future Hall of
11.
Famer. One of these players is in the NBA currently playing.
Dude. We might just end up tying it. What do we have? 3?
All right, I have a
You guys
guess.
are tied, so whoever
I
gets
have a guess for 11.
It's 11 is a Hall of Famer?
10 is a possible future Hall of Famer. 11 is currently playing in the NBA.
Okay, that makes my guess better for 11. I already guessed 11.
I have a guess for 10. I don't know how good it is.
So do I.
And I'm definitely blanking on a Hall of Famer that starts with a Z.
No, the Hall of Famers. 11's the current player.
11's the current player.
11's the current?
11's the current player.
Oh, shit.
10 is the possible future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so that's
Oh, that actually helps me out a lot.
that helps me out a lot more.
Okay.
All right, ready?
What is 11? No, I don't have 11.
Dude, I just
11 is current?
11 is current.
Oh my god.
I didn't give you none of the easy ones, man.
Dude, I'm just going to take.
Let's see.
Oh, wait a minute.
shut up. No. I'm gonna lose.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can't even see if I'm
Everybody
showing. I gotta
says-
fix this real quick. Where is it? Yeah. Oh shit.
So number 10, Dane says Ray Allen,
I
and
had D Wade. Shit, I think you're right.
and number 11, Zion. And what did you say?
I had Zion too.
Number 10 is Dwayne Wade.
Woo!
Number 11 is Lonzo Ball.
Oh, how did I
Congratulations.
forget? So Connor just won. Oh my
Connor
god.
just won. Great job. I think this is a very productive James jump.
How did I forget Lonzo Ball?
I think we learned a lot.
Learned nothing.
We gotta implement a shot clock now for next time.
Without a doubt. Because you guys take too long.
Yeah, whenever you show us Rasheed Wallace's logo.
Well, hey, I felt like that was fair.
Oh my god, your desktop is so organized. Mine's all over the place.
Well, I try my best to keep it clean. I try my best. Moving into the next segment, our picks. And we're just going to go straight into it. We're going to look into last week's.
Okay, the Texas Tech game. Let's move on here.
Crossed out this.
I'm up by 2 games.
We're going to go through. our
Coin
past
doesn't
few
lie.
weeks. So week 1, Dane went all the way through, but we still have some question marks about that. We still have some. We're not going to say anything, but let's just say
We're not gonna make excuses. We're just gonna come back and
we're going to bounce back, and we have been bouncing.
again.
This is week 2. We noticed we had to cross out a couple games that are postponed.
Connor, stop it. There was no game.
I have 2 perfect weeks. How many do you have?
1.
Oh, that's what I thought.
This is week 3. Only 2 games we could have talked about. Remember, we're getting into an NBA basketball now, and especially all these games being knocked out from college. The NBA is definitely going to help and supplement. So now, week 4. Dane doesn't have a pick yet for this
I'll
Thursday.
make it.
Is it? But it's okay.
If you
before-
actually pick OKC,
we're going to start Iowa, number 3 Iowa versus number 1 Gonzaga, Saturday at 12 p.m. Dane has the Gonzaga. Connor has Gonzaga. And I have Iowa. Listen, I like this team a lot, man. Garza, they're able to shoot it. Team's very well-rounded. They're very strong. They're great
There's
from
one
3.
thing they don't do well.
Oh,
What is that, Jayden?
is
There's
the
one thing Iowa doesn't do well, and that's play defense.
yeah. But I feel like if any night is to get hot, it's gonna be against Gonzaga. Gonzaga,
Okay, but you're
Gonzaga, I'm not gonna lie. Gonzaga's a great team. They're number 1 in the nation for
they're
a
the
reason.
best team.
But if any team is hot, if Iowa was home, I think it's a lock.
no.
A
No.
lock.
Okay, here's my thing. Jalen Suggs is more athletic than any of the guards in the Iowa roster. I'm not going to diss any of the Iowa guards. They're good too. But Drew Timme, I think, will do enough. He's actually probably a top 3 big man in college basketball. Guards is number 1. And then I think Corey Kispert's the difference. He's an All-American, and I don't think anyone can guard him.
I'm very confident in Iowa. The defense is an issue, but they also pass the ball really, really well.
But what does Gonzaga do bad? Like, what is Gonzaga's weakness?
They don't really have a lot. But if any
Yeah.
given Saturday at 12 p.m.
Traveling across the country? Okay.
Yeah. Louisville, 23rd ranked Louisville versus number 12 ranked Wisconsin. Wisconsin, didn't they recently come off a pretty, not bad loss, but they lost the game recently?
Marquette.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Marquette, they beat Wisconsin. They then went on the road to Creighton this week.
Creighton
And
sucks.
no, they don't suck. Marcus
They're
Zagorowski.
not as good as I remember them being last season.
They lost Tyshawn Alexander,
Okay.
but they go on the road to Creighton. They win. Then they play home against Seton Hall last night, and they lose. Marquette is one of the most inconsistent teams. So speaking of that, they knocked off Wisconsin.
Speaking of Dwayne Wade.
I have Wisconsin in this game. Louisville I had is one of the most overrated teams. That's going to prove to be wrong because Chris Mack's a fantastic coach.
Okay.
I just like Wisconsin at home. It's a makeup of the Big Ten ACC Challenge, so hopefully it will be played.
Yeah, I like Wisconsin.
Scotty Davis is a really good young freshman guard. And I don't think anyone can really contain Nate Reavers inside Micah Potter. I just think Wisconsin has too much depth, and I don't think David Johnson's going to be able to take over. Connor, why Louisville?
I flipped a coin.
Okay.
I
Nice.
told you my college basketball predictions. I'm just flipping a coin and I'm still going to beat you.
13 Illinois versus 19th Rutgers. It's going to be played at Rutgers Sunday at 1 p.m. Me and Dane both have Rutgers. Connor has Illinois. Dane, why Rutgers?
It's tough to win at the rack. Syracuse didn't do it. If they had Buddy Mayhem shooting well, look out, man. When they were playing at Rutgers, but I think Rutgers was in the Big Ten. They were like the most lopsided home road team last year. It's so hard to win at Rutgers Athletic Center at the rack. Illinois, although
With no fans, you feel the same way, or limited fans?
That is a factor. But Illinois, listen, and it's tough because
I love Illinois.
Kofi Coburn just put up like 33 and 13 and looked like Shaq the other night.
Yeah.
But Miles Johnson and Cliff Omiori are two huge dudes inside, especially Miles Johnson. With that afro, he looks like he's 7'3", and he's like 265. So that'll be a battle inside. And with the way Ron Harper Jr. has been playing, that's a battle with Io DeSuma. But the difference for me is Geo Baker, Rutgers point guard, his ability to shoot the three, and Rutgers is at home. That's why I like the Scarlet Knights.
8 West Virginia versus 5 Kansas Tuesday at 9 p.m. West Virginia for Dane and Connor. I went Kansas in this one. Dane might look at me funny for it. West Virginia is a good team, but Kansas, I feel like if they produce a little bit more, a lot of the games that they win are tough games and they fight. So I give Kansas the benefit of the doubt there. Does West Virginia have a shot at winning? Without a doubt. But West Virginia, if any game's a toss-up game in this one, I think it's this one.
Yeah, David McCormick is gonna have his work cut out for him. Kansas is big man inside because West Virginia. I mean, this team is tougher than a weekend at your in-laws. From the wide John Rothstein, okay? Derek Culver and Oscar Shebway inside. There's arguably the two toughest big men coming at you underneath West Virginia's front court. All depends on West Virginia's ability to shoot the rock. I think they'll make enough threes. And again, Jayden, you mentioned it. Kansas isn't a team that's going to wow you. Marcus Garrett, they're going to play solid defense. Ochai Abachi, he's pretty athletic, but Jalen Wilson's a nice freshman as well. But they are going to grind games and they're going to be in every game. That's why it's tough. Like they're one of those teams that you feel like, oh, they maybe could get upset early, but they just do a lot of things well that they're always in it. It's tough.
We're going to get to the NBA now. It just so happens that the NBA starts on Tuesday. It's not like we're dividing it like that. But you notice I have games here with the Magic in them and the Thunder, and we're all expecting them not to make the playoffs. But the main reason I have this in here just for maybe the first 2 weeks of NBA season, we're going to take the teams that were in the playoffs last season. And then, because this might be the only time that we get to talk about the Magic this season in this type of setting. It might be the only time we get to talk about the Thunder, obviously. So for the first 2 weeks, at least, we're going to have the teams from last year's playoffs and have them in our picks. And then as soon as that goes by the wayside, then we're going to get really into the thick of it. And first, Clippers, Lakers, no matter how you define these are two playoff teams. And we all had the Lakers here. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Even though these are two pretty top two teams, the Lakers are just a better team right now than the Clippers on paper. And on paper, you don't really have to go by this early.
We're going to be allowed to possibly switch our picks some with the NBA because there could be some news, whether if LeBron's playing, AD's playing. Same thing.
Regarding rest, yes.
Very good point.
Same thing with the Heat Magic because I think Jimmy's going to be playing. If Jimmy's not playing, I'm switching to Orlando.
If Jimmy's not playing, I'm keeping Miami.
Okay. But that's a very good point, Dane. The only thing that's going to allow us to change our picks from when we record this episode is massive injury, meaning let's say Luka Doncic or
Just players not playing.
Players
Yeah,
not playing.
players not playing. If they're not on the court,
Any reason why?
yeah, and it's sort of tough to do that for college because talk about bona fide studs like NBA. We sort of know. College, you don't really. It's a little bit different. Yeah, Dane knows, but it's a little bit of a different take. But Lakers, we all the Lakers. Heat, we all the Heat. Bucks, Celtics. Wednesday, 7:30. Dane has the Celtics. Connor has the Bucks. Connor, I'm gonna let you talk here. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has, but no, I'm high on Milwaukee. Dane's high on Boston, so I don't think our pick should really surprise anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just expecting Milwaukee to have a chip on their shoulder. Like they got Giannis. I'm honestly expecting a revenge tour, like some sort of redemption from them. I think Boston might have regressed a little bit on paper. I still think they're a very good team, but I just like Milwaukee a lot this year.
If this was a playoff series, I might say the Celtics. I used to say Bucks in 4. Maybe say the Celtics in 5 or 6. But in a regular season game, opening game of the season doesn't really, everyone get into the rhythm of it. I think the Bucks will just be able to win this game.
Boston, I like them. It's at home. It's early, and both of you picked the Bucks to start off. I feel like that's a good game for me to gain. Also, could be one that I lose. So it fit perfectly with that pick. No, I got to make the next one.
Thunder Rockets.
Really pick OKC.
Thunder Rockets.
I want to.
Yeah, pick them then.
Connor, tell me why OKC could win the game from a Thunder fan's perspective.
Harden doesn't play.
Blue Dort. I'm dead serious.
That is a good point. SGA is hard. All right. If Harden doesn't play, we just switch to OKC.
Yeah, if Harden doesn't play, you can switch to OKC. But also, as soon as you type into that box, I am going to explain why OKC will lose.
All right, go Rockets.
No.
Type in the Rockets, Jayden.
Typing in the Rockets.
OKC literally doesn't have a single big man outside of Muscala and Pokashevsky.
Yo, Pokashevsky, hasn't he been playing well in preseason?
I mean, he's been shooting nice. He's just he was the biggest project pick in the draft.
All right. Last one, go.
Yeah, Jazz and the Trailblazers, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Connor, only one more.
He's gonna get on us.
Give me the reasoning. I want to hear it.
I think I've talked about him a lot, whenever we were doing our standings, power rankings or whatever. But
specifically, why over the Jazz?
I think, you mentioned it, they're gonna have Conley versus Mitchell and Dame versus CJ. Yep. Obviously, goes Portland's way. I think Rocco will help. Utah also has Bogdanovich and Ingles. Portland now has Gary Trent Jr. and Rocco. And then you also look at you've got Nurk, you've got Cantor. I think that maybe they don't have as big of an impact just because of Gobert defensively, but also it's not like Gobert is going to give you 20 points and 10 boards. So I just think Portland edges it out. I think Portland's a better team.
Close. Elijah Hughes.
What a lot of people forget is but you got to remember when you talk about a 72-game season, these two teams that are supposed to be fighting each other early in these are two playoff teams. These games matter more than ever because you're going against your exact teams that you're possibly going to be facing in the playoffs. These are wins you want to get over them, especially in a little bit. It's the opening of the season, but you forget we should have beat them. We should have beat them day 2.
We had 2 games that were taken out. I just want we won't count them. I just want to hear what you guys think about them. I'll start with the East one: Wizards and Sixers.
Where? That doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter. I probably would have said the Sixers.
Philly. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's in Philly. I'd be picking Washington.
I'll go Philly.
I can't pick against Washington.
I can't pick against my
little baby.
Utah Jazz.
I probably would have said the Sixers.
Who's your sleeper baby? We gotta wait another episode.
Yeah. It's probably Toronto, honestly.
No, Toronto's. I mean, yeah. Who's your sleeper?
I don't really have a super duper sleeper baby. We went through our Eastern. The Knicks
is going. No, I'm not counting Golden State as well.
No.
Because Golden State can't really be a sleeper baby.
You just had the Knicks as your sleeper baby.
Knicks are my sleeper baby to be the 8th seed.
Ugly ass baby.
It's very ugly, but I think
ugly baby.
Rally the crowd. That how I'll give some hope.
Other game was Dallas, Phoenix. I can't remember where it was. I want to say Dallas was home, and
I'll go Phoenix because I think Dallas is just gonna lose. I don't know.
I go Dallas. Luka. is a fighter. And you got to remember this team got to gel a little bit.
I think Chris Paul's an easy player to gel with, though.
Okay.
Yes, that's true.
Look how many new pieces went into
with Devin
OKC last
Booker?
year.
With Devin Booker.
It's Chris Paul, dude. Like Chris Paul has the ability. He's not a guy.
I'd pick Phoenix too.
Okay.
He's
I'm
a
a good
guy
guy. But we'll save those bigger picks like that where those are teams we're thinking obviously at playoff teams. I want to keep it somewhat consistent. You know, I want to talk about these other teams too, you know. So
let's see if you can unshare here, Jayden, and
how to do these
wrap
things.
it up. Glad to be back on YouTube and just Apple Pods, Spotify, all that type of stuff.
God. Sorry.
Instagram post. Connor just turned off.
Why did I did not do that.
Wow, Connor.
What'd you do?
I did it to him.
Yeah, what the heck?
I don't know how to turn on. Oh, there we go. Stop screen share.
Stop screen
Yeah,
share.
there we go.
Boom.
There's all three.
Zoom
of them.
experts right here. Spent the whole semester in online classes. Yeah, I got emotional
We
taking
learned
my
from
last
Denise.
final. That's how much it hurt.
It
Like,
hurt.
And
I'm
wait,
telling
Think
you
about
right
it, Denise and John.
dude,
Bro.
I sent in my thing and I just like went into the fridge and actually no, I'm not gonna.
Cried.
I couldn't be more. I'm telling you, if we had to do this again next semester, I'm taking a leave of absence. I can't
I
do
am
this.
too. Yeah.
There's no way,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't
absolutely
have a job on
no
campus.
shot that I do another online semester again. Absolutely
Maybe like a 12 credit thing.
And
No.
I was-
Just knock out some ICCs.
no shot.
Knock out some
like,
ICCs.
it's
Get them out of the
even-
way.
it's even like you have more time. Obviously, you're not spending as much energy as you were like saying if you go out to a party or hang out with your friends at college. But like just emotionally, because you're not doing anything, and if you're at home, it drains you.
Yeah,
And just,
emotionally
like,
it
Here's
sucks.
my bed. That's the problem. Online classes start. I had an 8 a.m. class. I would turn on the video and lay in bed. That's not how you're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to be invested. I was not invested at all in any of my classes. And I feel very bad.
Yeah, and like, how easy is it with your computer screen when someone's talking and it's not?
Exactly. I've
As we're saying in our YouTube video.
fantasy football is fantastic.
Hey, listen, this is our thoughts on online. Hey, we'll send it into Ithaca College.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know how anyone could pay attention to watching any video as we're on YouTube.
Like, I printed out my
It's like our show is pointless.
I have my billing for next semester, and there's no way that I'm dropping all that.
Are we in any classes together next semester, guys?
I'm taking narratives with
Narratives,
Jayden.
loop.
I've got Ajan in my journalism ethics class.
I'm not in any class with those two guys, but we'll figure it out. I mean, I feel like if I was in class with those two guys,
I think I've got sustainability with Goldie.
And when we get back on campus, we get that great game that we were talking about, us three versus George Korak, Lena Spellman, Skylar Simon.
21-0. Fat L's.
We're gonna
Fat
down.
L's.
Do you know how terrified I would be of accidentally like stepping on one of their foots or like them
There's no
doing
season.
that on me?
There's no season.
That's true.
Yeah, they
There's
can
not
afford.
plenty
They
of
can
time.
afford a year-long injury. What are they playing
No.
for?
No, I'm talking like you take out ACL.
Like, I'm just scared of like Jayden.
Yeah, I'm scared of public humiliation too.
You've seen us. We've played together like 4 times. So
Okay, before we go, I do need to get back in shape if we're gonna actually like do it.
yeah, but rationally,
Shut down my gym.
why do you think we would have a chance? They are all really talented. Skylar alone
Skyler's like
put up like 330 bombs.
he's a candidate for player
You're
of the
like-
conference, and I was
You're
like,
gonna
yeah,
catch them off guard. I think
In
we're
what?
gonna be able to move
At
the ball
what?
around. I think they might show off a little bit what they're able to do, and they might get a little flashy and miss, and we just take advantage and strip
No.
like, oh wait, this is actually a game.
How do you think we would be able to defend them?
That's my one
Don't.
issue. But if we stay in front and if we grab rebounds, I
Dude,
think that's what we do.
Yeah, that's an if for any team. If we do this, guess
Because
what?
it's
We're
not-
not going to do
listen,
that.
How tall are they? They're like a little bit taller than me and David.
Oh, Liam's 6'4". Liam's 2 inches taller than
6'4". I'm
Skylar's
5'10".
my height, and George is like an inch shorter than me. And you're
5'10",
all
5'11". It's like, yeah, I'm not.
But we gotta remember they. I think if we really
No, Jayden,
put our
Jayden,
mind to
We
it,
Stop.
could use a coach. We could use a coach.
no.
we
yeah.
could use a coach. Maybe we should hit up what's his
Josh, yeah,
name? Josh.
Josh, yeah. Let's wait till the All-Star break or whenever
Yeah,
that
Josh
is.
would be like, yeah. After 2 minutes, yeah, I'm done with you guys.
He resigned.
I can't. Jayden,
I think it's time to end the show.
Yeah, I think it is.
And
We've
you
kept
notice
you too
we
long.
went over the 30-minute time limit because we have no time limit anymore. We're just glad to be back. And we thank you for being here with us for a long show, indeed. And we thank you for being here with us. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We are dribbling around, and we're excited for the NBA season soon coming. Our next episode we're supposed to record is good. We're supposed to record on Christmas. I don't know if we're gonna do that.
Yeah, are
but
we doing 2 a week now?
I don't
We're
know.
gonna try.
We're
I mean,
gonna figure
We'll
it
try.
out.
we'll see what happens.
We
when
just finished the
tinker with it.
semester. We're growing. We're growing. Look at us. All right. Goodbye. Thank you. Dribbling around. See you next time.
Open the books.
Ooh.
Wow.